I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're exploring a haunting tale of love, trauma, and redemption with a terrific author. His name is Arnold Dale Haywood, and he has penned a powerful book. It is called The Promise of Tomorrow. This gripping novel follows Hawes, a man torn between the love of his life and the life he knows, as a family trip spirals into chaos, heartbreak, and murder. With themes of addiction, abuse, and destiny, this emotional roller coaster forces readers to examine whether we can ever escape the shadows of our past to embrace the promise of a better future. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Arnold, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
This book is quite imaginative, quite real as well. How much of it is inspired by real life events?
Well, the overall theme of the book is it all started because when I was growing up, I would always go on camping trips with my mom and my dad. And at those camping trips, my mom would always tell ghost stories. And as the book starts, that's where the whole genesis of the trip starts right there. And that part is very true. But once it gets to the murder and there's things where it turns real fiction real quick, or it turns fiction real quick. So, but there is, there's the story itself is fiction, but the truths that come from the tale is things that I think that people every day, it's just the challenges and complexities of life, like love and, a man choosing, what type of man he really wants to be. And a young man growing up and, finding his place in religion and finding his place in love and, just finding his spot in life. And then, seeing how things sometimes just isn't fair. Like, why is my life amazing and somebody else's, maybe not the same? Like, I don't comprehend how that works. And I think it allows, the story itself allows you to think back and ponder a lot of things in your own life. And that's what I like for the readers when they read it. I want them to have a story. I don't want it to be, I want them to enjoy through it. I try to make it very simple for the readers. And I think that part's there, but there's going to be parts in there. You're like, oh, wow. Yeah. I wonder, there's things that makes you reflect upon yourself.
Exactly. And it is such a mind-blowing aspect of our existence here on Earth. Some people, live a charmed life, right from birth, or it appears at least on the surface. Other people appear to have a black cloud above them, and there's lots of turmoil and chaos in their lives. And why one person has great luck, the other person has bad luck, who knows? Certain things, of course, do come into play that do make a life a little bit tougher, and they involve abuse, trauma, and addiction. And you address all of these in your book. Tell us why you decided to include those elements.
Well, my other job besides being an author is I'm in the restaurant business, and I have 172 employees, and I get to see the complexities of their lives, and I get to see what each, someone who's working with me, some of the challenges that they have. And my family has, we have our own challenges from there. Like my parents didn't have the addiction and abuse of that way, but we did get to see that, when we were in church, we would help people out who may battle some of those things. And, and I think there's a lot of different, there's a lot of different battles that each person has. And I think one of the things that's pretty neat about the story is that one of the characters who challenges that, they have to make that choice where they have to decide, like today is my day. I can wonder about the past and, kind of keep harping on why this kept happening to me in my past. Or, what I could do? I could make today the day that I worry about the promise of tomorrow, that I'm more worried about what's going to happen in my future and not let my future, my past, no matter what happened, dictate how my future turns out. today I decide that tomorrow is going to be better no matter. And I think that's, no matter the challenges, whether it's as egregious as abuse or just challenges such as money and finances, or no matter what the challenge is sometimes we as humans can't allow the past dictate our future.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there is that power of positive thinking and making the decision that things will be better, things will get better, and that you'll do better. That I think changes the trajectory of our lives often. Let's give the folks at home a brief overview of the book so they have a better understanding of what the story's about.
All right. Well, this starts out with a simple camping trip to the North Carolina mountains, which I took millions of times, and many people do growing up into the North Carolina mountains. And then I turned it into a real tale about a young man's, just his challenges of what I think a lot of people, they have to figure out who they want to be. And through this, he meets a young lady who has a total different life than he's lived. And he gets to see a world from a total different perspective. And through that, there's a love that's built. And, as time goes, that love gets challenged and they get torn apart. And then later in life, they have to figure out, if they were meant to be, or, just their time has passed. And along the way, both have to choose. And I think this is neat that both characters from two different perspectives have to choose whether they're going to let the past dictate their future. And, like the main character in the book, he grew up a very simple person. And he has to battle the change of poverty and see if he's the one who's changing that as well. So not only does he have to battle the poverty and the love loss and all these different battles that comes in life, he has to just one time reckon with God and find out, what's the man he's meant to be.
Exactly. Have you envisioned this as a film, perhaps?
I think it would be, of course, I'm a little biased, but I think it would be the perfect Hallmark film. Like, it's very much a Notebook type with a little more a Notebook type story with a little bit of a more murder, a little more excitement. It's a little quicker. Once you get into it, it's, the Notebook and Nicholas Sparks and some of those stories are a little slow as you go through, which I love reading those type books.
Right.
But this has a lot more drama to it, and it gets a lot faster and a lot more action that happens with it. And I think, normally a Nicholas Sparks book is very based on love and all that, but I think this has a little more deeper challenges than just love.
Exactly. And I thought the same thing. It reminded me of a Nicholas Sparks novel, but with more intensity and more action. And not too many people get murdered in Nicholas Sparks
No,
novels.
you're exactly right.
But I do think it makes it more compelling as well.
Yeah, I think
Because
it's a
like
little
you
bit
said,
like a love story and a psychological thriller put together.
exactly. I agree. How do you feel about love actually surviving the kind of tragedy that Bo and Binky face? Do you think that's possible?
Oh, I definitely believe in that.
Yeah.
This is more personal than on the book, but I'm a blessed person because all I've ever wanted in life was a beautiful wife, two kids, and a house that's worth $100,000. But I was blessed with much more than that. I was blessed with a wife more beautiful than I could ever imagine, kids better than any man should probably have, which is my reward from God, and then a parents and a support system through my family and friends that is based solely on love. So when that said, is when you have tragedy such as happens or occurs in his book, those are factors that love has to take control. Like that's, and I think, the depth of this is finding that person or those people or, looking for that love in your life. And I think it's there sometimes, that we just have to be open-hearted enough to accept that love.
And that's a time when love is needed. That's a time when love is tested. And that's a time that love will sustain you during the trials of life, no doubt. What do you hope readers take away from the book about forgiveness from others and from ourselves?
That's a great question because I think, you know, as I said earlier, one of the prevailing thoughts is that you can't dig too much in the past. Like, you have to learn from it, but it can't be the anchor that carries you down. And I think if you're unwilling to forgive, and move beyond that, then it will always hold you back. It'll be like an extra 10 pounds or 20 pounds of weight that you just carry every single day. So I think being able to forgive is more for you, for us as individuals, to relinquish whatever was holding us back. And I think that's the thing that love, that's where love comes in, is accepting that forgiveness. But that starts with loving yourself enough to know whatever happened that was so bad is you know what, that's just a character builder for me to be better tomorrow.
And speaking of tomorrow, I love the title Promise of Tomorrow because I feel always that tomorrow holds promise. Tell us a little bit about why you named it that, entitled that, and do you feel that there is the promise of tomorrow even after deep pain?
Well, I will tell you, that's my motto in life. I have is my motto is legit: be better tomorrow than I was today. And
Mm.
I don't know if that's possible if you don't believe in the promise of tomorrow. And I think that, in life, you have to have things that you look forward to, and you get to make those things if you want. We are the masterpiece of our own artwork, and
Mm.
we get to choose those factors. So for me, believing in the promise of tomorrow makes it easier for me to wake up today. I look forward to what I can succeed tomorrow, or what I can do with my family, or what I can do with my friends. And I think those views gives people mental clarity, and gives people mental peace, is if you do believe in tomorrow. And I think, again, that goes into, you can't hang on the past to make tomorrow. Like, that's the thing, is too many times we worry about what happened, and we don't take enough time to see the blessings we have and what can happen, is where we need to put more focus on.
Absolutely. I think we should cue the music here. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
There you go.
Bill Clinton used it. We can borrow it as well. It's
There
a
you go.
great philosophy for sure. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Better days will come for sure. The name of the book we've been talking about today is The Promise of Tomorrow. It is an unforgettable story of heartbreak, healing, and holding on to hope. Arnold, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate your time, your wit, your wisdom, and your insight. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.